What's up, YouTube? This is Bathwiz97, and welcome to episode number 29 of my WWE 2K16 Universe mode. And in this episode, we determine the final participants in the King of the Ring tournament. But first, we see Los Matadores pick up a victory in their return matchup, and Bo Dallas scores a win over Heath Slater, which is important. We'll touch back on that in a little bit. But here you can see we also have a inter-brand Fatal 4-Way matchup consisting of Sami Zayn, The Miz, Wade Barrett, and Jack Swagger. But first of all, we're kicking this episode off. It's Alberto Del Rio taking on Rusev in Raw's final King of the Ring qualifying matchup. But to touch back on that Bo Dallas matchup we saw earlier on, this is official news just in, that this Thursday on SmackDown, Bo Dallas will be taking on the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship in what could possibly be the biggest main event in the history of WWE Universe mode. Bo Dallas, he requested this match with Lita several weeks ago, and Lita finally deciding to give him the match. So Bo Dallas, opportunity of a lifetime to challenge Brock Lesnar and perhaps become the next WWE Champion. But of course tonight, we determine the two final men who will participate in the King of the Ring tournament. We have the final qualifying match for Raw, which is between these two participants. And then later on, we're going to be seeing Stardust take on Tyson Kidd to determine the final participant on the SmackDown side of things for King of the Ring. And once we get this done tonight, we're going to have everything set in place for King of the Ring, which is, of course, next week in Universe mode. We're going to be getting, as well as that, we're going to be getting the official brackets next week. So you can make, if you have been keeping tabs, you already know by the end of this episode who will be qualified. But once we get all the brackets set up and in place, well, people can start making their predictions. Who do you think is the strongest contender for King of the Ring at this point in time? Let me know down in the comment section below. Is it perhaps one of the two men we're about to see compete in this next very matchup? Is it going to be Rusev, the man who failed to become the #1 contender by losing to Randy Orton at Night of Champions? Or could it be the former United States, the former World Heavyweight Champion, Alberto Del Rio? We're going to find out here as Rusev backed up to the ropes. Del Rio looking to create some separation. Ducks underneath. Leapfrog overhead. Del Rio looking to quicken the pace to kick this one off. And then right away there you see Del Rio going to those kicks of his. That's one thing Rusev has got to avoid. It's the deadly submission specialism that Del Rio possesses, or those vicious kicks. Certainly Del Rio, if he can hit you with a couple super kicks, well, you're done for. Rusev, he's got a pretty powerful super kick of his own, but that doesn't change the fact that doesn't mean that getting hit by a ton of super kicks is going to help him win the matchup. As for Del Rio, he wants to keep it fast-paced. He can't afford to try to outpower Rusev. That's just not going to happen. And Rusev, of course, his accolade submission hold, he has put Del Rio in that move in the past. In fact, Rusev was part of the reason why Del Rio was out with an injury for the past 6 or 7 weeks. And now that Del Rio's back, he's got an opportunity at Redemption. And to do that, he could rob Rusev of a potential King of the Ring matchup. Gutbuster there from Del Rio. And already we're looking at some strong competitors in this King of the Ring tournament. We're looking at Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Cesaro. And that's only just a few of the names set to participate in the King of the Ring tournament on the Raw side of things. And that's not even touching the SmackDown half. But right now, Rusev slamming away at Alberto Del Rio. And Mexico's greatest export is in some deep trouble as Rusev, huge suplex there, taking down Alberto Del Rio. And now Rusev stomping away at the face of Del Rio. See, that's the thing I mentioned earlier, that Rusev has faced Del Rio in the past, and quite handily he defeated Del Rio on a previous episode of Main Event. And now look at this, the cover. 2. No, but Del Rio able to kick out. So Rusev tonight, he's already got not just the physical advantage, but he's got the mental advantages as well. Del Rio, that's going to be in the back of his mind that he has lost to Rusev before. And perhaps that could just make Del Rio much more aggressive than he was in their previous encounter. But right now, history seems to be repeating itself as Rusev has Del Rio. A second fall-away slam now. And so far, not so good for Del Rio as Rusev. He's just manhandling him, tossing him around like a rag doll. Del Rio now slumped up against the ropes. Rusev again using that power and the viciousness with these ferocious knees right to the ribcage of Del Rio. And a third fall-away slam. The third time's the charm. Could that be the one to put away Del Rio? Well, Del Rio's crawling, trying to get back to his feet, but Rusev, he is in firm control of this matchup. Belly-to-belly suplex now to Alberto Del Rio. And you got to think the frustrations after losing at Night of Champions going to be boiling over in this matchup for Rusev. Another belly-to-belly suplex. And Alberto Del Rio, he could be out of this matchup right now. I mean, he has not been able to muster any sort of offense in the past several minutes. As Rusev, look at this submission hold. A modified abdominal stretch, and Del Rio, he's in some deep trouble. Rusev wearing the man down. Is Del Rio. It's probably just all that he can do to make it back to his feet. Oh no, Rusev, we've seen this before. Huge slam right there. Del Rio right down onto his back. And that usually softens his opponents up for the accolade. Rusev, he's calling for it. And he flips Del Rio over. But Del Rio managing to get back to his feet. But that might not be any better. Super kick to the jaw. And Del Rio, he's out cold. Rusev, pin him right there. He might have the match won. But no. Rusev, the stomp to the back. And the accolade is applied once more. Alberto Del Rio, he has felt this pain before. And I don't think he's going to have any other choice. Alberto Del Rio, he's forced to tap out. Rusev qualifies for King of the Ring tournament. I tried to mix those two words into one somehow. Rusevifies. He Rusevifies his way into the King of the Ring tournament. Sure, let's go with that. But there you see the Bulgarian Brute once again teaches Alberto Del Rio that the former United States champion is nowhere near Rusev's league. And Rusev, his reign of destruction will continue. He hasn't been, that loss to Randy Orton at Night of Champions definitely derailed him. But as we saw there tonight, Rusev, he's not going to let that completely disrupt his momentum. He's already getting things back on track. As now we move on to what is the final King of the Ring qualifying matchup. And it's the final for SmackDown. As one half of the tag team who took on the Ascension at Night of Champions, Tyson Kidd, set to take on the I don't even know. I tried to come up with a nickname for Stardust, but I just can't do it, man. Stardust, he gives me the creeps whenever he comes out here. I don't know how to react to him. But Stardust, nonetheless, set to take on Tyson Kidd here tonight. Tyson Kidd, along with his partner Jack Swagger, fell in defeat to the Ascension this past Sunday. So Tyson Kidd, perhaps we've already seen Jack Swagger fail to qualify for the King of the Ring tournament. Tyson Kidd perhaps looking to redeem this tag team and qualify for the tournament himself. But to do that, he's going to have to come up against a man who, quite honestly, has been unstoppable these past several months. Stardust, he has not lost since returning under this new persona that he's adapted. And just no one has really been able to compete with Stardust. Everyone he's gone up against has just been completely flabbergasted by this his diversity, his bizarre style of offense, and quite honestly, he's just unreadable. You can't read what this man is thinking. And when you attempt to try to make a guess as to what he's going to do, he does something completely different. Something you wouldn't have expected. And that's how Stardust he's managed to gain as much success as he has in these past 2 months. I mean, we saw at Night of Champions, he was on the winning team. Team Stardust picking up the win over the New Day. And Stardust, he has just won match after match since he adopted this new persona. But Tyson Kidd tonight, he's going to have to get that all out of his mind. You know, momentum, it's a very important thing, but it's not the be-all, end-all in terms of victories and defeats. Tyson Kidd, he might not have the momentum behind him that Stardust has, but that doesn't mean that he's incapable of picking up the victory tonight. Tyson Kidd, right off the bat, going to have to utilize high-flying, quick-paced offense as he went for a dropkick there from the second rope, but a bit of an ugly landing there for Tyson Kidd. He landed right on the back of his head, so he's got to be careful, but that's why they call it high-risk offense. And Kidd, well, dropkick now from Stardust. Kidd, he's going to have to utilize some of that high-risk offense in order to keep Stardust at bay. But here's Stardust, running bulldog there to Tyson Kidd. And Stardust now kicked to the back. Imagine if Stardust could win the King of the Ring tournament and potentially be the next WWE champion. Oh, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to imagine that. That would certainly be, well, I'm not even going to place a word on it because I don't want to think about it. I just don't want to think about that being a possibility. I can't even begin to imagine you know what? I'm done. I'm not even gonna think about it anymore. We're just gonna leave it there. It's Tyson Kidd right now delivers a DDT to Stardust and now sets him up for a kick right to the back. Both of these men have competed for the Intercontinental Championship in the past. Both men defeated at the hands of Titus O'Neil. Although Stardust, he has not had an opportunity at that Intercontinental Championship since WrestleMania. But Tyson Kidd now the cover on Stardust. 2. No! Stardust kicks out at 2. Although more recently, Tyson Kidd received his opportunity at Money in the Bank. And of course, both men were defeated by Titus O'Neil. Although Stardust, he's never had a one-on-one matchup with Titus O'Neil. His was in a fatal 4-way, which also included the likes of Darren Young, Ryback, and of course Titus O'Neil himself. But still, Stardust, he's had a long journey to try to capture the Intercontinental Championship, but ultimately he has said in the past his goal is to become the WWE Champion. And King of the Ring provides the perfect stage for him to do just that. Look at this! A disaster kick from the second rope. Stardust now the cover. 1, 2, no! Tyson Kidd gets the shoulder up. Stardust, he's won many a match with that same kick. But tonight, it's just not enough to put away Tyson Kidd. As Stardust throws him into the corner there. But now Tyson with a counter. There's a kick. Another kick from Tyson. And now a punch right to the face. Tyson Kidd. He's got Stardust. A nice cannonball senton into the corner. Tyson Kidd now quickening the pace. Stardust whipped off the ropes. Here's Tyson, power slam. Utilizing Stardust's own momentum to his own benefit. And now Tyson Kidd. He's positioning Stardust, perhaps looking to go in for the finishing blow. No. Counter by Stardust with a knee to the face. And a scoop slam. Down goes Tyson Kidd. Beautiful counter there from Stardust. Who knows? Tyson could have finished him off there. Straight jacket DDT there from Stardust. Apologies for my brief slip up there. But Tyson Kidd, it looks like his slip up is going to cost him the match as Stardust, Dark Matter, planting Tyson Kidd face first. The cover. 1, 2, 3. There you go, folks. Stardust. As much as I don't want to say it, Stardust, he qualifies for the King of the Ring tournament. Stardust, the final man to join the King of the Ring tournament. And there you go. The stage has been set. We have 15 of 16 of our superstars determined. And we have one mystery return also on the way. I personally think that this King of the Ring tournament this year, it's going to blow the previous years out of the water. Hands down. I mean, just looking at the list of superstars that we already have slated for this tournament, the likes of Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Cesaro, who I mentioned earlier, but as well as that, you can include Roman Reigns, Darren Young, Titus O'Neil, Connor of the Ascension, Neville, Chris Jericho, Christian, Zack Ryder, Curtis Axel, Rusev, and of course, who can forget the former King of the Ring winner, Mark Henry. I mean, just looking at that list alone, multiple World Heavyweight Champions in their own right. Christian, Mark Henry. We've got an entire list of game competitors, former Intercontinental Champions, United States Champions, Tag Team Champions. This year, hands down, we have a very strong roster competing in this King of the Ring tournament. But tonight we see 4 people who just missed out on qualifying for that King of the Ring tournament. One of them, of course, we saw previously make his way to the ring, Sami Zayn, who was, quite frankly, screwed out of his opportunity by Seth Rollins, who used the ropes unfairly, might I add, but the referee didn't see it. Seth Rollins unfairly using the ropes to really steal the opportunity from Sami Zayn. Then we have Wade Barrett, who is defeated by Connor of the Ascension to qualify. And as well as that, we have The Miz, who was defeated by Zack Ryder, and Jack Swagger, who was defeated by the former Intercontinental Champion, Titus O'Neil. Well, tonight, these 4 men have the opportunity to get their careers back in a more positive direction. Try to pick up a key victory here just to get things back on track. The Miz definitely is a man who could use a victory here tonight. Wade Barrett, of course, he's coming off of the Team Stardust versus New Day matchup, which he was on the winning team, so, you know, got to give fair props there to Barrett. But everyone else in this matchup is coming off of a more recent loss on, well, whether it was a big stage like qualifying for King of the Ring, or in Jack Swagger's case, not only did he fail to qualify for King of the Ring, but he failed to win the tag team titles as well. So, in terms of who needs this victory the most, well, personally, I mean, everyone could come up with I can't think of the term, my apologies. Everyone could think of a different superstar who could use this win the most, and, you know, various reasons why. Personally, I might have to go with, I don't know. Part of me wants to say Sami Zayn, and another part of me wants to say this man, Jack Swagger. I mean, in Sami's case, he was screwed out of his match with Seth Rollins, which was unfair, and, you know, a victory could just help him get back on the right track and push himself up towards perhaps a United States Championship opportunity or a tag team opportunity if he could find a partner, anything of the sort. Sami Zayn, at this point, he's struggling a little bit to find his footing on Monday Night Raw. And then you have Jack Swagger, who has never been the same since he lost his United States Championship. I mean, right here, we're looking at a former United States champion, a former tag team champion, and Jack Swagger, since moving to SmackDown, has just really struggled to find his footing there as well. More recently, after teaming up with Tyson Kidd, it seems as though he's finally gotten that, but he just doesn't quite have the momentum to back it up. But a Fatal 4-Way opportunity like this, definitely a good chance to put yourself on display, and the fact that it is brand versus brand in this matchup. We get 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown. you know, he's going to have more eyes on the matchup, get more attention behind this victory tonight. So this matchup, it is an exhibition match, but still just as important in the minds of these four superstars. A Sami Zayn, huge dropkick there to the face of Jack Swagger. Miz going after Wade Barrett in the ring, slamming his head off the mat there. Zayn with a nice counter, sending Swagger down to the outside. And now look at this. Rolls him up into almost a small package there on the floor. Barrett now a jawbreaker. And this is what happens in these types of matchups. We have a fight on the outside, fight on the inside. So it's going to be a bit difficult to call the action, but I will do my best. As Barrett now has turned the tides in his favor. Swagger with a huge boot to the face of Sami Zayn. Knee now to the face of The Miz on the part of Wade Barrett. So right now, SmackDown appears to have the upper hand. But of course, as I say that, curse of the commentator, Miz turns things around. Sami Zayn appears to be doing the same. As Swagger backed up to the barricade. Here's Miz. DDT right there as he knocked Barrett down onto his knees. Miz the cover here. One. No, but a kick out by Barrett. As now all four men are in the ring. Sami Zayn going to work on the arm. A nice face buster there from The Miz. Perhaps another opportunity to go for the pin. No, Barrett back to his feet. Swagger perched up on the top rope here. Oh, this is not going to be good. Swagger with the axe handle. And that broke up Barrett's attempted, I don't know, is he going for a suplex on Zayn there? But whatever it was, it didn't happen. And now Swagger going after The Miz. Barrett going for Zayn. Swagger the cover here. One, two. No, but a kick out by The Miz. Barrett back in the ring now. Looking to stop Swagger from gaining a potential pinfall as Miz now. Got to give a bit of an assist to Barrett there, but Miz the clothesline in the corner. Sami Zayn, a nice maneuver there to take down Wade Barrett. And Miz a shoulder breaker to Swagger there. Barrett now floors Sami Zayn with a clothesline. Cover now by The Miz here. One, two. No, but a kick out by Swagger. Now it's Barrett the cover off Winds of Change. Referee, pay attention. One, two. No, and you got to think, if the ref had his eyes on the action, I mean, if it weren't for the fact that he was paying too much attention to Miz and Swagger, that might have been a victory there for Wade Barrett. As Miz now drives Swagger face first into the mat off that snapmare driver. And now the cover by Miz. One, two. But a kick out by Swagger is now Barrett back in the ring. This time he's looking to stop Miz from gaining any more offense. Sami Zayn back into the ring as well. Here's Barrett. Huge big boot to the face of The Miz. Zayn a suplex to Swagger. And now it's Miz dumped to the outside. Sami Zayn, Blue Thunder Bomb to Swagger. The cover. One, two, three. There it is, folks. Sami Zayn picks up a huge victory tonight on Main Event. And, well, the damage dealt to Swagger throughout that matchup, the snapmare driver from The Miz, it just all added up. And then, of course, Sami Zayn just happened to be in the right place at the right time to nail him with that Blue Thunder Bomb. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Be sure to stay tuned for the next one. And until that episode, as I always say, keep on YouTubing.